Welcome to our very first Click and Connect. We invite everyone to join today's discussion on how to submit a sickness benefit, quick tips, and more. Click and connect with us to interact, share, ask a sickness benefit question to win prizes. I would like to present to you our presenter, Mrs. Moeva Fuller, Corporate Relations Officer, SSB.
Thank you for that introduction, Miguel. Let's look at the agenda for today's session. Today we're going to be looking at claim submissions, the available options that you have as our valued customer. We're going to be looking at qualifying conditions, the requirements to qualify for sickness benefit. We're going to be looking at complete claims and incomplete claims, and we're going to give you examples of those incomplete claims. We'll also be looking at deadlines and important notes and how to know the status of your sickness benefit claim. Let's look at the options available for claim submissions. There are two available options for our customers. The first being that you can submit your claim to us via email, which is claims@socialsecurity.org.bc. If you are going to be using that option, you need to take a clear photograph of your claim and email it to us. Or you can also take a scanned copy of the documents and send it to us via that email. It is important to note that you must indicate in the subject line your name, your social security number, and the corresponding benefit type. Now, option number 2 is using the Dropbox service. If you are going to be using this service, it simply means that you are going to be taking the documents to the Social Security office in your area and you submit them using the Dropbox service that is located conveniently outside the Social Security building. It allows you to submit your documents to us without having to interact with people in the time of the pandemic. So you have those two options. You can send it to us via email, or you can use the Dropbox service that is conveniently located outside the Social Security office. Now let's look at the qualifying conditions for sickness benefit. There are two key qualifying conditions that you must take note of. The first being that you must be an insured person, which means that you must be registered with Social Security, and you must be in insurable employment. You may be asking yourself, what is insurable employment? Insurable employment means that you work for at least 8 or more hours per week, and you have an employer, and your employer by law is required to pay Social Security contributions on your behalf. That places you in insurable employment. So to reiterate, you must be employed and you must be working for a minimum of 8 hours or more per week to be in insurable employment. The second qualifying condition is that you must have paid contributions before your illness. You need to have a minimum of 50 paid contributions and a minimum of 5 paid contributions in the 13 weeks immediately before your illness. 50 paid contributions, that equates to about a year of employment. So if you have been working and you feel that you may not qualify, you need to ask yourself, do I have 50 contributions? Have I been employed for a minimum of 50 weeks? This can be from your current employer, it can be from previous employers, but it must accumulate to 50 paid contributions over the time of your employment. You need to also have a minimum of 5 paid contributions going back from the 13 weeks immediately before your illness. So if you just started to work with your employer, but you know that you've been employed by that employer for about a month and a half, you meet that requirement. You have those 5 weeks out of 13 weeks going back immediately before your illness. What I want to share as well is that you must submit your benefit claim on time. You have 14 days from the first day of illness to submit your sickness benefit claim. So we've talked about the qualifying conditions. So what I'm now going to give you are 4 steps that you can follow to ensure that you are submitting a complete claim. The first being that you must download the forms from the Social Security website. The forms I'm referring to are the sickness benefit form, also known as an SB1 form, the salaries record form, also known as an SM2. When you validate the sickness benefit forms, it means that you are going to identify the relevant authorities, which in this case is your doctor and your employer, and they are going to complete these forms. The sickness benefit form, well, as you know, your doctor is going to indicate on the reverse side how long you are going to be unwell. Again, this is known as the period of incapacity. The salaries record form is the one that your employer needs to complete. They are going to indicate the day you last went to work, the time you last went to work, and your income for the 13 weeks immediately before your illness. So you have those two forms, and I want to state that you need to remember to also provide us with proof of your banking information. So you have your sickness benefit form, you have the salaries record form, but you still need to give that proof. That proof can come in the form of your account book, it can be your online banking, or it can be a statement. It just needs to indicate your name and your account number, and it needs to be shown legibly. So you have those three forms, and what do you do with those three forms? You are going to now scan or take a photo of the completed forms and send them to us at Social Security. You can scan, and I know a lot of you may feel as though, well, I don't have a scanner, but in this modern day, there are scanning apps in which you can download on your cellular device that captures the four corners of the certificate and allows you to scan it clearly. You can also take a clear photograph using your cell phone as well, and you then go to the fourth step, which is to email those documents to Social Security at claims@socialsecurity.org.bc. Now that we've talked about the steps in which you are supposed to follow to ensure that you submit a complete claim, here is an image of what it looks like when you have a complete sickness benefit claim and how you need to capture the image, showing the four corners clearly and everything legibly. On this form, you will note that there are several highlighted fields in yellow. Those are all key fields that you must complete, so we want to encourage you to complete this form to the best of your ability. It requires your personal information, your employment information, and your declaration, whereby you're going to indicate that what you've stated is true and accurate. So this is the form that you need to scan or take a clear photo of, and again, you're going to email it to claims@socialsecurity.org.bc as one of the two available options for claim submission. So we've discussed the complete claim process and the steps that you must follow to ensure that you submit a complete claim. What we need to now look at is incomplete claims and some examples of incomplete claims. Those examples are missing salaries record form, your claim has proof of banking information missing, or there are fields missing on the sickness benefit form itself. So whenever this happens, you can expect that there will be some delay with the processing of your benefit. You need to ensure that your salaries record form is submitted along with your sickness benefit claim form so that you have the pieces of the puzzle together. So always remember that when you're submitting a claim, you need three pieces. The first being a complete sickness benefit form, the second being a completed salaries record form from your employer, and the third being proof of your banking information. So we've looked at the claim process, we've looked at qualifying conditions, we've looked at the method in which you can submit, but what is another key important thing to know is the deadline to submit your claim. Now when it comes to sickness benefit and injury benefit, the deadline to submit your claim is within 14 days from the first day of illness. Again, I want to reiterate that because it is of vital importance. You have 14 days from the first day of illness to submit your sickness benefit claim and also your injury benefit claim. Now, if you are submitting a claim after that 14-day window, you need to remember that you must accompany a note or some indication that lets us know why the claim is being submitted late, why it is being submitted after the 14-day period. You need to submit that late note. You do this to avoid possible loss of benefit. Be sure to explain and to tell us what the situation is and why you are just now submitting it after the deadline. Also remember that it does not have to be you. We understand that you are ill, you are unwell, you cannot leave your home. You can have a friend, a family member, or even your employer submit your benefit claim on your behalf. Let's talk about how to know the status of your claim. Knowing the status of your claim is linked to the method in which you submitted the claim. If you submitted your claim to us electronically, you are going to receive three types of email notifications. The first being an email that lets you know that we've received your claim, we acknowledge receipt of that claim. The second notification that you're going to get is the claim decision email. You are going to receive an email from us that advises you of the claim decision, whether it was allowed or disallowed. Thereafter, you're going to get a payment notification from us, and that again comes in the form of another email. It's going to tell you if your claim was allowed that you can expect payment to be made to your bank or credit union by a specific date. And it's going to be, the funds will go to the account that you provided to us on the claim form. Now, if you submitted your claim to us via the Dropbox option, you are going to receive a text message from us if there's something missing from your claim. If there's nothing wrong with your claim, you can expect a payment notification email from us as well. You are going to be told that your payment was approved, it was allowed, and you can expect payment to your bank or credit union account. I want to stop here because I want to encourage you all to ensure that when completing the sickness benefit form, you indicate what your email address is. Your email address is key because when our processing team is vetting your forms on the back end, we can update our system with your email address, which allows you to receive all types of email notifications from Social Security and keeps you in the loop when it comes to the status of your claim. So here are just some additional tips to ensure that you have a complete claim. And we've touched base on a few of them earlier on, but there's nothing like reinforcing information. The first is that you need to ensure that you provide us with accurate and up-to-date contact information. Let us know what your phone number is. It can be a cell number, it can be your work phone, and please provide us with an email address. I've let you guys know a little earlier on why the email address is so important. Always provide us with proof of your banking information, okay? Again, you can use a recent bank statement, you can use your online banking, or you can use your account book that shows your name and your account number. And keep in mind that you can allow others to submit your claim on your behalf to avoid missing the 14-day deadline. You can use a friend, a family member, or your employer to submit your claim on your behalf. So be sure to make the most of these steps and the tips that are available to ensure that you submit a complete claim. So you can always remember that our customer care team is here to offer you support and is here to help. So if at any point in time there is something that is unclear, or you need support, or you want to know what's going on with your claim, rest assured the customer care team is there to help, and you can reach them by visiting our website, that's socialsecurity.org.bz, and using the live chat function that is available. We are here to offer you all help. The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future. The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure
Welcome back. Today I have with me Mrs. Maria, who is the manager for our benefits division. Mrs. Chavarria comes to us with a wealth of knowledge on all things Social Security related. It is my distinct honor to have her here with me as we go through your comments and provide you with answers to your questions.
Good morning, everybody. The board recognizes the need for us to engage all stakeholders and empower them with knowledge. It's important that as insured persons, as employers, and even staff, that we are empowered with knowledge and we know what are our rights and responsibility as it relates to Social Security in order for us to be able to serve you all. So today we'll be here with you to answer a couple questions. The objective of this initiative is to give you knowledge so that you can facilitate the submission of claims and we're able to expedite the services to you. Thank you for joining us today.
All right, so now let's look at our first question. We have a question here from Janet, and Janet says, is maternity benefit filed the same way as sickness benefit? Yes, Janet. Maternity benefit and all benefits for Social Security purposes are filed the same way. You can submit them using the two options. Option one being the claims email, which again I want to repeat is claims@socialsecurity.org.bz, or you can also utilize the Dropbox service at the Social Security office in your area, okay? That applies for all benefit types. You can send all of your claims using those two options, Dropbox or email.
The other question, we have another question here. Feel free to include your questions on the comments. Why do you have to wait 6 months to qualify for sickness benefit when switching between employed and self-employed, even though there is no break in contribution? The contributory program whereby we are required by law to make contributions as an insured person along with the employer is a different program than the self-employed program. The self-employed program is a voluntary program and it has its own rules and qualifying conditions as legislated. And first, therefore, once you join the self-employed program, you must have joined contributed at least for 26 weeks before you can qualify for the benefits. That is provided that, of course, that you have previously contributed as an insured or in a contributory program, another 26 contributions, so with a total of 50 contributions for you to be able to qualify for the short-term benefit, which would be sickness and injury and even maternity. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, so I just want to add one more bit to Janet's question. I just want to let you guys know that any forms that you need for any benefit type, any types of benefits from Social Security, they can be obtained via our website, which is www.socialsecurity.org.bz. You can obtain and download all the forms there, okay? So let's go to the other question. There is one here from Beulah, and Beulah asks, what is the turnaround time when collecting your claim if you submit your form with all the requested information? Okay, that's a fantastic question, Beulah. So provided that you submit a completed claim, the processing time ranges between 3 to 5 business days for you to have your funds deposited to your bank account, provided that your claim is allowed, okay?
So with Social Security Board staff, we are also going through the having to deal with the challenges that the pandemic has brought onto us, and we have an unprecedented number of claims being submitted, especially through the City branch office, where we do have a backlog in the claims, which so the processing time should be usually 3 to 5 days. But if in any case you have not received a response in regards to your claim, feel free to contact us at through the chat group or through the messenger on Facebook and let us know about your specific case. I know that the CCRS team is a very efficient team that provides a prompt response to your queries within 5 minutes.
Within 5 to 10 minutes.
Within 5 to 10 minutes, we should give you an answer. We want to be able to serve you. We want to be able to answer your questions. We're here to ensure that you get the services. At the end of the day, Social Security itself has its own responsibilities. We have to be accountable to you as a contributor, and it's our responsibility to respond to your queries.
All right, so there's a question here from Louis, and Louis wants to know how long would it take to get paid for sick leave due to COVID-19? Now, what I want Mrs. Javaria to do here is I want her to explain to you guys the process of claim submissions for COVID diagnosis, the process that the doctors go through to submit your benefit claim on your behalf.
Okay.
Then I'm going to discuss a little bit more about how long it would take for you to get paid for that benefit.
I would just like to remind you that for you to qualify for sickness benefit, you have to be incapable of working as a result of illness, or it could be that you had sustained an accident or a fall. And even if you have a mental problem, if you're incapable of work as a result of any of these things, you have the right to seek medical attention first of all, and you must therefore seek medical advice and get your medical certificate completed by a registered medical practitioner. The legislation makes provision for us to cover any period of incapacity if you meet the qualifying conditions once you are in fact incapable of work as a result of that illness or injury. Or as it relates to COVID, if you are required to abstain from work because you are a carrier, that means you were found positive with COVID, but you may be asymptomatic and you are required to isolate or quarantine. You can also make a sickness benefit claim. You need to seek medical attention, and the incapacity has to be certified by a medical practitioner. If you have been in contact with an infectious disease and you are tested, you can also submit a claim, a claim for sickness benefit, provided that you get your days certified by a medical practitioner. And as it relates to the question, what we have in order to support the process of the COVID-related claims, the physicians are able to submit an electronic medical certificate to Social Security. Once they submit that medical certificate to Social Security, your responsibility as an insured person is still to ensure that you complete the appropriate sickness benefit form and you submit it to Social Security, and also obtain the salary records as we previously discussed. That is one form, or the paper form can also be completed. The forms are available on the website. Kindly refer to, be reminded of referring to the website for any of the forms that for benefits. You can submit that. We would prefer if COVID-related claims are submitted via email. If you don't have an email account, you can submit it through our Dropbox. We advise, we're not accepting any COVID-related claims through the office by visiting the office. We have to reduce the potential risks to our staff to ensure that we continue business and we are able to continue serve you. So we need to protect or ensure the safety of our staff. So therefore, if you're unable to submit it through email, you can submit the claims to the Dropbox. A relative can submit the claim on your behalf. You don't have to submit that claim on your own. It can be signed by someone that you delegate to sign that form and submit that claim also on your behalf. At the end of the day, as it relates to any COVID-related claims, we want to reduce the traffic. COVID is moved, infections is moved by persons, by movement. So therefore, we encourage people, if you are to isolate or you've been advised to isolate or quarantine, please do so and reach out to us through the email, through the phone, or through by sending the form to be submitted to the Dropbox.
Yeah, so just to recap.
Did I answer the question?
So just to recap, Louis, the processing time, provided that all is complete with your sickness benefit claim, regardless of the diagnosis in COVID-19, it is still within that 3 to 5 business days processing time, okay? Again, that means that when it gets to that processing aspect, you must allow some provision for for the vetting process to be done and for the compilation of missing pieces of your claim if you do not submit it as a completed claim. But the processing time would range from 3 to 5 days, provided that everything has been submitted. I see another question here from Lydia, and she wants to know if COVID-19 is included in the list of approved illnesses paid by SSP. That's a great question, Lydia, and I'm happy to share that indeed COVID-19, along with isolation, is approved for payment under the list of illnesses by SSP, okay? So if you have to isolate, if you have been tested and you are positive, or if you are negative, you are still covered under the Social Security scheme. You just need to ensure that you get a medical certificate that certifies the days that you had to isolate or the days that you are unwell in order for us to pay out the benefit, that is. And then I see one here from Belair, and Belair is saying, how if I don't have an email address? So you'll remember, Belair, in the presentation, we shared that you have 2 options. So if you don't have an email address, you can submit your claim via the Dropbox service, okay? And all the offices have a Dropbox service that is conveniently located right outside the building, okay? Priscilla is asking, what is the process of payment for those who do not have a bank account? All right, Priscilla. Now, when it comes to paying of Social Security benefits, you must have a bank account. It can be a bank account or a credit union account. We don't pay any payments over the counter, nor do we pay payments via checks. So you need to have an account in order for your benefit to be paid out to you, okay? As it relates to short-term benefits, those are sickness, maternity benefit, and employment injury. You need to ensure that the account is your account because we cannot deposit funds to anyone else's account, okay? But if it's for a long-term benefit, there is some flexibility there whereby we deposit funds to someone else's account provided that we have the authorization from that person that they are okay and that they approve you using their account to receive funds from the Social Security Board. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, Lewis is saying that he wants to know how long it would take to be notified after he has submitted the sickness benefit claim online. He says that he did that from the first day, and up to now, which is 10 days later, he has not been updated about it. All right, Lewis, this is certainly not ideal, and I can understand your question. As a customer, you really don't want to not know what's happening with your claim. So normally the vetting process would take about 1 to 2 business days. And in that process, that is when the vetting agents are going to respond to you via an email, a phone call, or a text message, letting you know if something is missing from your claim. Sometimes these responses go unanswered if it's a phone call. Sometimes we leave a voicemail and customers don't respond, or the email goes to the junk folder. So I do encourage you to check your junk to see if that is in there. As Ms. Chav had shared earlier on, if you are from the Belize jurisdiction, you must remember that we are having some processing delays there. We have a slight backlog and we are working to have that up to speed. So that may be a contributing factor, but we are putting our efforts into overdrive. We have approved overtime for the relevant staff. We are pooling resources from other branch offices so that we can get all processing up to date for the Belize area. I want to also share that if you want to know, and I think you want to know because this is your claim and you are concerned, please feel free to send us a message using our messenger feature here on Facebook, and our team of customer care agents will promptly give you a response within 5 minutes, letting you know what's happening with your claim, okay?
There's one more question here, which says, what is the time frame to receive letters of approvals for employers after employees have received payments of benefits? Whatever decision on any claim that is done, a letter, the employees informed and the employers is informed. If we have an updated email address of the employer and of the insured person, the letter will automatically go to that email being provided. If you have not received a response in regards to it, you can contact our office to ensure we update your email and ensure that you're getting your messages. I would just like to remind you that at the point that the claim is submitted via email, we don't have an online portal. So the measures that we've put in place is to ensure that we are able to account for all the claims that are being received and to ensure that we give benefits where it's due. We are in the phase of integrating our systems to improve the online communication by next year, but at this point of time, we're managing our claims through email or through the Dropbox so that we continue do business and continue providing the service to you all. So at the point that, as the previous presentation that Ms. Moava shared with you, at the point of the email being received, you will get an automated response acknowledging that we received your claim, but at that point, the claim has to go through a vetting process. If the claim is incomplete, it will be returned to you either through email, you will be contacted through the phone or through a text message to ensure we get the additional information. We are unable to continue the processing of the claim if the claim is not complete. A complete claim is the complete sickness benefit form, the employer salary record, and your banking information to ensure so that we can proceed and process your claim. If you have any question, if you need any guidance or support at any time, again, I insist, you can call our customer care center, preferably through the messenger and through the
live chat feature on the Social Security
and
website.
we can guide you and support you to submit your claims, to check on the status of your claim, and to look specifically into what are the issues that you're having in obtaining your benefit. We're here to serve you.
Okay, and I do want to share that in interest of time, we have to wrap up. But any questions that were not answered on this live feed, we are going to be reaching out to you individually and providing you with a response, okay? So you'll be hearing from us within the next few hours with your response to your claim, okay? Sorry, to your query, that is. So that brings us to the end of our very first segment. And before we end off, I'd like to share that for those who tuned in and who asked questions, we have the duffel bags that we will be raffling. There are 3 of them. And those lucky winners will also be receiving $50 each, okay? So we'd like to say many thanks to those persons who participated and shared with us today. We will be announcing the 3 winners shortly. So stay tuned and remember to click and connect with us on our Facebook episode next month.
Thanks for listening to us. If you like this presentation, please give us a like. And we're hoping that on the next session, we're able to speak about other benefits and you'll be able to ask
more
us about that. More questions, yes. And we'll be able to address all the questions. The whole point of this session is to keep you informed and empowered. Click and connect.